Here we have the three values. For instance, this and this one. I think it leaves that blank. Then we would have geometry, and in the attributes table, as far as it doesn't know where to take data from, it leaves that blank. So then we could edit data by hand, either through the table or with the attributes editor, where we have forms in order to edit those values. The following thing we are going to do is one of the novelties, which is the loading of Excel tables in 2.0 and 2.1, and this version was not in existence. So we could say that we are adding a button, and we save in order to add on Excel tables. We have two fields with coordinates, and we have two options to upload them. Either we can show project manager type of document table, and then we add it on and create an event layers. That's how it was done in the previous edition. Or directly how to add a layer. I'm going to open a table. This is XLS Excel. This is the one that you have on the layer X, Y, and coordinates there, relative coordinates for. If I go to the previous view, and then if I go to gvSIG in this view, I'm going to load this XLS to the difference of the previous one that we have to load the table. Now directly we can go to add a layer in a file, and then I go to XLS, and then I'm going to add, in order for this to be acknowledged as an event.
Y aquí tenemos la configuración. Esa es
We could get into properties. This is the XLS, and then we have the sheet that would be number 2, and in the first file, in the first line, you have the files, and the first line could be headers, which could be the names of the fields in my layer in gvSIG. And as far as this is a dot layer, we have to put separated by commas the coordinate that is coordinate X and Y. If I say accept and add this configuration, and I say OK, if I do a zoom to this layer, then I have coordinates 1000, and I have relative coordinates 1000, and environment and surroundings, and this layer, if we get into properties, it's still an XLS table, is virtual. So then what we do now is we have to export and this associated could be XLS, and then we can upload an XLS table directly. Those dots, it is it acknowledges, it recognizes this. You could use snapping. The only thing which is virtual It's not a physical layer, so it's just there. Another novelty is the hyperlink to folders. Up to now, we only have hyperlinks to HTML and others, but now you also have a hyperlink to folders. For instance, in states of Mexico, in each one of the states, you have PDFs for files and others, and now we have different files. We may be interested in link that to a folder, and then we'll have all the files for the different states. We'll have and each state will have its own folder, including all data. So that we go to 4326 view, and here we have this layer from Mexico. We are going to take the one of the SAPE file, and we are going to edit this in a new field. We start edit. We open attributes table, and we are going to add a new field at the end that contains the row in table, adding column. We are going to call this folder, the name of the folder that we want to link. If it's too long, in order to ensure that it's not going to reduce it, we add 150 characters in order not to have problems whenever we do the hyperlink, and then we say link, and it is added here. We are going to one of the states, Chiapas. And here we are going to insert the row to the folder. If we go to the file explorer, then we have a folder of different coats of arms. Here we have from different states, but imagine that this would be from Chiapas and would have all the coats of arms and information about Chiapas. This route to the coats of arms folder, if you make a double click here, you can make this route editable, and in Linux I have to go and introduce location. So then I don't have to write the road by hand and don't run the risk of forgetting any character. And you can copy the complete road selected, Control C. I go to gvSIG, add to the field folder, add the state of Chiapas, Control V, and then I'll paste it, and then I have my folder with all the coats of arms of the state of Chiapas. Finish editing and save. And now I have to configure hyperlink as I used to do with the other images and so on. For properties of Mexico in hyperlink, activate hyperlink. And here is where I have to configure that this is going to be a link to folders. Now I have PDFs, images, and so on, and now I have to link that to directories, and my folder is folder, carpeta. So then I say apply, OK, and if I go to Chiapas, I go to the attributes table to do a search and find it. This is Chiapas. If I go to the hyperlink, which is the yellow, if I click here, it opens the Files Explorer, because I had it open due to this folder, and then it opens the files explorer, and it opens the folder with the subfolder that I need. This is another advantage of version 2. You can have as many fields as you want, and you can have one for HTML, one for images, and one for folders, and in the same record the three of them are complete. When you click that record, it will open everything. You should put folder 1, 2, 3, and put different roads. The only thing is that you could need a double fill, and you should have to be configured in two actions, and we can add fill folder 2 or folder 2 field. And finally, we are going to see the 3D viewer. On this same view, in which within the source that of the three layers, and we are going to add a layer of a digital model of the terrain. We are going to add layer in Archivo, and we're going to go to the solar folder. So now we will go directly to the most beautiful one, which is that of Leon. We are going to go to the MDL folder. Is the it's the lion 2647. You don't have to load the tiled one, because there is room enough for the ordinary one. Then now we are going to zoom on the layer, zoom to the layer, and here we have this layer. It says something, but not much. So then we go to provide it with a color palette. Properties, color. Here we have a color table. The first thing is to activate color tables, and if you go downstairs, you have EMDT 1 and 2, and we select number 2, apply, and accept. And we have colors in 2Ds. Now we're going to leave only that of Leon. And we remove the remaining layers, and we only leave the one of Leon visible. And we go to the spherical one, so that you see we have two options, the spherical and the flat one. In this case, perhaps the flat one would be better, because we are in a local area, but for you to know the difference, you can also mark urban festival. Then we can distinguish and that allow us from the the options that we have in 3D. The fourth option will allow us to implement the zoom option that we have. Sorry, but I can't hear him. So with this button, which is synchronizing frames at the same zoom, brings it to the 3D view. Now with the right button, we can incline this 3D view. Do you have it? Do you get it?
No, lo que se hace ahora es, nosotros le damos ahora...
What we do, this is a digital model of land. Then what we do is to exaggerate it vertically, which is using this button here. If you maintain this button pressed, then you see that you can elevate it and you can this is the vertical exaggeration with the right button of the mouse, so you can incline the view, and with the little wheel you can go there, and then you can see in 3D what we have loaded in the 2D model. This is a digital model of the land, and we have loaded it to the 2D. Yes, yes. Yes. Not directly. You can do that directly with exaggeration. With elevation, you have to follow what is marked by the MDT. You can use DMT, or you can say that it should use its own DMT. Sorry, but the sound is not reaching me and I cannot translate. Here you have it as a background. You could have another different background. If I want to use elevation and background, I load it here. And I use it as elevation. I would say that it's not a raster, but is an elevation layer. Accept. Okay. And it could be under the old in the viewer of the previous one. And here what I have to do in the properties of the view is the tag 3D that has different actions. One is to show the two layers. You could deactivate so that it's not shown, and you could also use by defect the inclination of worldwide. If I say that it shouldn't use that, then the software is going to use the other one, and based on this, we go to the layer, and it's going to use just the elevation of the layer. Yes, yes. Here we are going to do the test of the WMS. I was going to load the WMTS in order to watch the digital model. But if you have the MTT under, and it's the orthophoto, you will have to put it over. If not, you will see the MDT, that means the gray colors. And you could load a local ortho photo. You can do the same with vectorial data. If you add here a level curve based on the MDT, and it creates the layer, and I say I want level curves, and here it's represented, and it is synchronized all the time. For instance, if to these level curves I change their color to do something simple, well, you have to change that here. The things that do you on one side can be done in other sides, because the properties of the view, if I don't understood it wrong, you can say the layers should be selected, or that if not synchronized, and the approaches have also to be synchronized, because if not, each time I move here, the 3D will also move. We have been touching the basic elements of gvSIG, and then the novelties. Do you have any doubts about what we have been talking about? Another main new features is scripting. We from gvSIG, in this case is this view, we have scripting tools. There are different videos with an explanation of how to load those. There was the composer, and you can either create it or directly and creating a new one here, and you have influence areas, lateral buffers, and for the processing and so on. There are many tools, and they are being included. There is a MOC for free on scripting, and the projects which are done as the final project of the MOC are uploaded, especially if are very interesting to its own thing. Do you have any doubts about new things and so on? Yes. What we would do for the max is within the view of Andalusia, both in the project manager where it has appeared, we will have it here within the menu. And we would select the width of this photo and the scale, We are going to put 1 million. We say that it should only do that on the borders of the provinces that generates a grid, and this will be the series of maps that is going to generate for us. In a map sets view, we could adjust the sheets here. We would if you have the borders of Ceuta and Melilla, that creates a four grid, a four. And let's think that I have the area of Ceuta. I only want to aggregate one area, not all of them. Once we have created, we would do map sheets. You know that we still have some testing. We still need some testing. So we have to refine some details. Here we would have configure map with selected grid, and then we would have that order, and with that we would have a sheet, and we would put the title that should be presented in all the leaves, and we would configure the code. And directly we would tell him the exit folder with the templates and each template with its own area. But there is a key. We should get out. Yes. We should get out from the editions model, and then we could deactivate the option, and this could be the access, which is the other. If you have any queries, you could use the user list, where we have a mass of more than 3,000 users only in the Spanish version, and any incidences, problems, whatever you have, please let me know in the list of users, and thank you very much. Now we will make a break, and after we continue with the gvSIG applied to urban development. Now today we go to the cafeteria because we are not so many people today.